that we were good. Hello! Good, good, good. You can hear me okay? Good morning. Good morning. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sheila. I did a couple of things yesterday just to check out some new colors, and I'll walk you guys through those, and then we can use whatever color combinations or stencils that you want. So think about if there's some colors you want to see or a specific stencil, we can do that. Because if you've ever watched me before, I always wing it. So I always laugh when Kim's like, I fly by the seat of my pants, because when I do backgrounds, I kind of do the same thing. So I thought at least the first part, we'd have a little bit of structure, and then, well, then we'll just go for it. It is the butterfly stencil. We're going to start with that. Let's see. Must be this way. So we'll start with that, and then we'll do some other fun things. I did one with sprays too on the gel press. Always trying to figure out new things that we can do. And I think it's a cool background. Now, if you like perfect backgrounds that aren't distressed or messy, then, you may not like it. But I think it's a really cool background. Hi there, Anna. Thank you, Sheila. All right, I think it's 8. Oh, hi, Patty. You got your iPad working. All right, cool. We're just about ready to get started. So I'll try to keep an eye on the comments. So what I did yesterday, like I said, to kind of have a little bit of structure, at least at the first part, is I took the Gorgeous Grape refill, the Morning Marigold, and the Pink Pizzazz. And I'm going to walk you through this, but I just want to show you some samples before we get started. Put them on the gel press, and then I put the stencil down on top of it, and I created this. When I lifted it off and then put the paper on it, and let me pause right there because I get questions about this. So this is what I use. This is Hammermill premium color copy paper. It's 100-pound cardstock. So this is what I always use. And I buy this by the ream on Amazon. And it is thick enough for everything that we do. And also, at least in the US, I don't know how much it is in Canada, but I think it's pretty inexpensive. So that way, if you do a background sheet that you don't like, you're not losing anything, right? If I buy a whole ream of paper, I usually cut my sheets down to like 5.5 by 6, just because, you know, it's 8.5 by 11, so that it kind of fits the gel press. And then I don't, you know, lose a lot of it. And if one is wasted, it's okay, right? I haven't spent a ton of money on the paper. And this is the back, and I'll demo this, but when I brayer my ink on, when I put the paper on, then I brayer that ink onto the back. And sometimes I like the back more than the piece in the front. So, you know, use whichever side you want. Here's another one of those where I stuck the stencil in. But then, for this one, I stuck the stencil on the gel press, inked over the top, and then put the piece of paper down. And so this is what we got. But when I showed the design team, this one was their favorite. And this was, I put the stencil back on, used a baby wipe to clean it off on the gel press because it doesn't, you know, your stencil doesn't move. And then I put the paper over the top. So this is the waste. This is the wasted ink that I would have just cleaned up and thrown away. And wouldn't this be a beautiful card? Mat this, trinkets, some ribbon if you want or not. And this would be a gorgeous card. And again, that was the waste. That's what we would have thrown away. And then this one, if you've ever watched before, to get these little ridges, I put a little bit of hand sanitizer, which I know is a premium right now. And brayer the reinkers into it, and it gives this kind of molten look. And I love this look. I think this would be a really pretty look for under the sea. And again, look at the background. This is where, I know I do too, Deb, when waste turns out gorgeous. Again, this is the brayering that I just brayered it off. I think it's a really pretty look too. And again, like sometimes they don't turn out like this one. I would use this though. Again, I was picking up ink and seeing what it looked like, and it was really light. Then I kind of did the raindrops. This was the waste from the raindrops. I did chubby clouds. And, of course, the back. I think the back would be really pretty for an underwater look. And then, again, I used the sprays for this one. So, we're going to do that. We're going to get started. I'm going to pull these aside. All right. So, let me move this down a little bit. All right. So, we're going to do the butterfly one. And then think about... You end up with so much with so little. Yes, exactly. You can do the whole background, or you can use a section of them. Or if you use the back, which is more solid, then you could take a stencil and use sprays like I did for the Fairy Folk card, right? I used the mica spray over the back. Oh, yes, Karen, the paper that I use is the Hammermill premium color cardstock. It's 100 pounds. And I showed a picture of it earlier in the video, and I get it by the ream on Amazon. And it's for the US, it's usually around $20 for the ream, $25 depending on, you know, how Amazon is. They bounce around. So not too expensive when you think about the amount of paper that you're getting. All right. We're going to start with Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to put on a few drops. No science to this. Pink Pizzazz. And then Morning Marigold. I just thought these colors were really pretty together. Then I take my brayer. Get my reinkers out of my way here. And just, you want to get a nice blend. You don't want harsh lines, but you don't want to blend it where you lose those colors either. Then we're going to take the stencil Hang on. I could see the ink starting to bead up. That's why I rebrayered it. You want it to be solid. You don't, if it beads up, then you're not going to get full coverage. I'm trying to press this in without lifting the ink underneath because this has a lot of openings in this stencil. But I want it to pull that ink off. Then you pull it off and you can see where I didn't push it in. Then we're going to lay this down. And like I said, I brayer my ink off. Because that way then my brayer is clean for the next time. And sometimes I have a really cool background. Then we lift it up. So you can see when I said my ink was getting the little drops on the surface, that's why that's not solid. But we'll do it again. But I could cut this off and I could use this top part because I think the top part came out really nice. But let's do this again. Let me put a little more gorgeous grape. And I will tell you, I have better luck with the reinkers with all colors. I can use the pads, but the lighter colors are not as pigmented and therefore not as solid. So like Lovely Lagoon, Party Peach, my favorite, Salty Sea. You can use the pads instead of the reinkers, but I get the little droplets a lot because it's not as heavily pigmented. This looks better. I'm going to use this again. I want to get a good impression down in there. And then we'll lift that off. I did a better job that time. Put this on. You can see my fingers are already inky. It's how I roll. I must have a hair on this. Yep. There it is. So there you go. Oops. I keep flipping it upside down. So you can see much more pigment down here. And then you can see that it leaves the mostly solid. It just kind of lifts around the edges. So now, the reverse, if I set this here, and I set it on my gel press because it sticks to it, and then these little pieces don't get bent, and I take a baby wipe, and I just pull this, clean it like you would. Now, this may or may not work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on how much ink is on there. So I didn't have a lot, but you can see I picked up all that waste. If I had more, I would get more. Good morning, Sabrina. Morning, Erin. So don't be afraid to when you're done, check and see what's left. I don't want to bend that. And if it's worth picking up. That's why I don't buy expensive paper. But I still want to make sure. And I use it sometimes just to clean the gel press. Because see, now I know that it's clean and ready for the next. Good morning, Amy. Yeah, Patty, I like baby wipes just because, you know, they're going to get really inky. You can I use a towel too. I have you know, little pieces, but at least with a baby wipe, I can throw it away. For stamps, you know, I usually use the little stamp cloths anymore, but for this inky, I like to really use the baby wipe. Any other colors? I'm going to show you the, let me put these away. And I will show you the hand sanitizer. So this is my craft hand sanitizer, and I may have to, you know, take it to work here, but let's use some blues and greens. Let's use Magical Midnight. And then let's use some Mermaid Melody. I'm going to put a little bit of Lovely Lagoon. And then we're going to brayer this. And I'm doing a light hand. I want those ripples from the hand sanitizer. And we're going to put this down. And we're going to brayer this off. And again, sometimes it's really about cleaning my brayer. But this already, I think this would look good for under the sea. But look at that. How cool is that for a background? I really love the technique that the hand sanitizer gives. It keeps that ink suspended. And then, you know, to me, it looks like water. I've done this technique with like oranges and purples and black. Yeah, You Are Mermazing, the otters. I mean, to me, it really looks like water. I've done it for a Halloween sky too. Manatee Pals, yes, absolutely. So again, you know, and again, where we brayered off is cool too. What other color combinations? What stencils? Let me show you this real quick while you guys are thinking of what you want. So I put the stencil down and I took some of my sprays. And I just kind of sprayed on. I'm sorry, this is Real Red. No, this is Crisp Crimson. That first one was Mermaid Melody. This is Charming Chartreuse. We're going to pick up all of this that's on top here. We don't want to waste that ink. And look at that. Kind of a fun background. We'll see what's left underneath. I like to pick up both. Sometimes I don't like them, but sometimes they're really cool. That's the kind of the fun thing about the gel press. You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, there wasn't a lot left because they're... Did I say real? It's ruby. Yes. Thank you, Sabrina. Sometimes there's nothing left, and then I'll just use this, you know, to pick up other ink. Let me clean up my spray. And could dry this up. So a different way to use your sprays to get a different look. Let's see, what other color combinations? What else is new? We use Morning Marigold and Gorgeous Grape. Magical Midnight we used. Let's do one of those. So we'll do a little bit of Stormy Sky down here. And then we'll take some Magical Midnight, put it here. And then we'll take some Sparkling Sapphire. And then we're going to use all the blues here. We're going to take some Mermaid Melody. And we'll add just a little bit of Salty Sea to the top. Like my most used. I love this color. It's just really light from a pigment perspective. Look at those beautiful blues. All right. Where's my clouds? Here's my chubby clouds. Trying not to stick my fingers in these clouds, but I wanted to pick up this ink. How gorgeous are those blues? Now that kind of looks like a stormy sky. Yeah, a fish stencil would be. Oh, I can do the yes, I'll grab the Fabulous Feathers. It's right here. We'll use it next. And again, if you just want to ink your background, right, we have a nice gradient blue that we could use for a background or for a layer. Let me clean this. I like sticking it to the gel press because it doesn't move when you go to clean it. And if it's very detailed, you don't lose all those little bendy plastic, right? I don't want to bend them. Clean this. And we will set this aside to clean it. If you don't like your stencils being like this, what I have found is the Nuvo stamp cleaner will take most all of the color off, but it has like an oily feel to it. It's whatever the solvent is that cleans. So then I use like the Ranger water-based stamp cleaner over the top to take that film away. But that solvent does a good job of cleaning off the hybrid ink. Okay, what colors do you want to see with the feather stencil? What do you guys think? You want purples and pinks? I know this is a purple and pink group, huh? All right, let's use some Gorgeous Grape because that's our newest color and it is a gorgeous grape. I think it pairs nicely with the Whimsical Wisteria. So we'll put some of that on here too. I know, huh? Purple, purple, purple. All right, and then we'll do some pink towards the top because why not? Let's get pink pizzazz. No, I use pink pizzazz. Let's do an oldie but a goodie. Raspberry rose. How's that? We can't forget our much loved older colors either. All right, so we're going to brayer this out. See, now I'm going to add some pink pizzazz back because that's pretty light. Right along that line. There we go. All right. And now we're going to get I have some I think it's paper towel stuck on there. All right, so now we're gonna press this down in here. And then we're gonna pull that off. And we're going to put this down. Get that. The brayer does two things. It is a good way of picking up all that ink that's on the press. And then, like I said, I like to clean off my brayer. So it's really inky, so you can see how you just get the outlines of the feathers. Let's see if I can clean this. See how dirty that is? I'm not sure if there's anything stuck on there, but we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up to make sure. Sometimes there is, and then you're like, ooh, the waist is more beautiful than what I was doing. Oh, see? It's a nice, light, subtle. Ooh, I froze. There it goes. But again, more of a ghost, you know, much lighter. A lighter let me clean this up. Okay, perfect. Put that over there. Clean this off as I put something on it. Throw these away. See, you got to get inky. Instead of cleaning, could you put another piece of paper? You can, Joyce. Here, I'll show you. We'll do this one again. We'll use the feathers again. And we'll do purples again, because I know this is a purple group. It's a purple crowd. The hybrid inks dry. So, but one thing that I have found, where did it go? Oh, here it is. I did put some alcohol, just isopropyl alcohol in a mini mister. So we can see if that'll hydrate it enough to lift off. We'll, because if your ink gets too dry here, you can always spritz it with alcohol. If you spritz too much alcohol, though, you'll get those little droplets versus solid ink coverage. Look, I grabbed purple petunia instead of pink pizzazz. I was doing all the purples. Pink pizzazz. And we'll use raspberry rose as well. And we will brayer this. And we will stick this down. If you don't want to try to like press in between, you can take a piece of paper and press. Because again, you're just trying to make good contact so it lifts up the ink. You just don't want to... Hi, babe. Thank you. You don't want to press in the open areas because you'll lift that ink. So you can see right there that I lifted that ink up. Hi. So then you lift this up so you can see where I made contact and where I didn't. So you can see, like, I didn't mix this one well, so I have those harsh lines. And sometimes that happens. So I'll set this back down, and I'll try to pick this up. With paints, you can do this. With a hybrid ink, sometimes they dry, but we'll... So see, it's just a little bit of a mess, but we can try to hydrate it with some alcohol and see what we get. And then I'll show you one other thing I did yesterday, which was kind of fun. So it's still kind of a mess. It did hydrate it, but that could be cool depending on just the technique that you wanted. I probably would chuck them. I don't like how I didn't get a good transition. I'll show you what I did yesterday, which was kind of fun. This stencil's well loved. All of mine are, actually. They're all dirty and messy and... I think I got... paper towel or something, baby wipe on there. Okay. All right. One of the things that I did yesterday that was kind of fun is I set the stencil down. Yes, you're absolutely right, Anna. And I've done that, right? If you stencil over the top with paste and then you just have, some of this popping out behind, that can be really pretty. Or you can cut a section of it and use it, as a border on your card. So it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can then cut it up and use it, make a mosaic with pieces of it, right? Use little dies or, cover it with a bigger stencil. I took and I put the stencil down, and then I added this right over the top. So I added the gorgeous grape. And then I added the pink pizzazz. And then I added the morning marigold. So that I would get a reverse, right? Let me just clean this. So then I did the same thing. I've laid down my colors. And I put this down. And there I have the reverse, because the ink was in the on the plastic, right? And then the stencil part, I froze, I think. There it goes. So you get a very different look. And then I pulled this up and I put this down and I brayered it. And I got the opposite. So 2 pieces, kind of from the same technique. And then we got to clean this. Thank you. So, right? One technique there, you got 2 different backgrounds that you can use. And then we'll see if there's anything here. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. And then there's that, and that's complete waste, right? That's the cleaning, and it almost looks like watercolors. So now we have 3 separate backgrounds from one kind of inking, if you will. We have all 3. I haven't. I know that the acrylic paint will pick up, like, I mean, that's part of the gel press. What it does, right, is like you leave those remnants of color on there, and then each and every time with acrylic paint, it picks it up and it picks it up. I usually just play with Kimmie's ink, so I don't really use the acrylic paint, but you could try it. But like, I think I really like this one because of the wash. Like, to me, it's almost like a little watercolored background. All right. Anything you guys want to see? Any colors you want to do? We could do the hand sanitizer again. I love this one. Let me use some too on my hands. Yeah, no, I know. On it to pick up the ink that's left. I think I got rid of all my acrylic paint. I might have some somewhere. I don't usually play with paint. Let's do some charming chartreuse. We'll make like a grassy, maybe into a sky. Let's see how that looks. And some goblin green down here at the bottom. And then we will do some sapphire into a salty sea. I put a little more salty sea because it's so light. Okay. There we go. That's a cool background too. So just a fun, I really like the texture that the hand sanitizer gives. Right? It's flat. There's absolutely no dimension to this, but yet it looks like it has a ton of dimension. And I really like that look. Now, if you want just a real like splattery look, we'll use the same colors and I'll show you what'll happen like if you spray it. The ink kind of beads up. So we use goblin green, charming chartreuse, some sparkling sapphire, and some salty sea. Like my salty sea re-inker is already like half empty. So who's used their salty sea re-inker? Maybe not quite half. At least a good third. I'll be the first person that needs more re-inkers, Kim. So if you're like, okay, that would be cool, but let's say we want to spritz it. What does that look like? So now you have that, where the alcohol hit. Oh, yes, I filled a mini mister with isopropyl alcohol. So this is 91% isopropyl alcohol. I put it in a mini mister and then it displaces the ink. So if you want a more yeah, it does almost look snowy. So if you think about it right, it displaces that ink, so then it left it white, which is, again, cool. Let's do a darker one, like Bubbles. Oh, yeah, so if you want any colors, get them now, because Kim's ink manufacturer shut down because of this COVID-19 pandemic. And so we don't know when it's going to open. We don't know when we will be able to get new reinkers or ink pads or anything. Let's do the same technique, but like a dark, snowy sky. So let's start with Stormy Sky. And then we will do some Sparkling Sapphire. And then, what do we want? We should put some purple in there. We'll put some purple petunia. And then I'm going to put up there also some Magical Midnight. Just a few drops to get some blue there too. All right, so we're going to blend that. We're going to take our spritzer. I think that the ink manufacturer should be essential. All right. I spritzed it with some alcohol. There. Now, how's that for a stormy sky? Does that look like snow? And you can see where I got heavy. I didn't want to over spritz it. Okay, for a space background, let's give it a go. We need some Wicked Black. And I'm going to put the Wicked Black. I try to be a little more sparing with the Wicked Black. And I'm going to put it at the top too. And then I need some purple. Let's do the purple petunia down the center. We could put some gray, but I think let's do some Stormy Sky. I kind of think that, and we're going to put it in between the black and the purple petunia. And then we're going to blend that. I need a little more black at the top. There it is. I don't know about you guys, but the only ink pad I've had to re-ink is the Wicked Black. But yet I use my reinkers for tons of stuff. All right, so we're going to mist that. Look at how cool that is. Just this part is cool. How's that for a space background? We'll do it again, and I'll do only one spray of alcohol. So the more alcohol, the more white. So we'll do it one more time. Yeah, Patty. So the ink pads, I've used the darker ink pads and had success that I liked, but they aren't right. They're already in the pad, so they're not as pigmented because like the reinkers. So I have way more what I would consider success. Not that with the ink pads are bad, because I like that too. I like that look. But especially the light colors like Lovely Lagoon, and I love that color. I cannot get it to from the ink pad. Like I always get the little dots because there's not enough pigment on the gel press. So it beads up, and then that's what's in, you know. And but with the reinkers, you don't have that problem because it's so pigmented. All right. Okay, so I'm going to do just one spray higher up here. And I'm going to leave it like that. And then we'll put the paper. Look at that. So there's the difference. 2 spritz of alcohol versus 1. So it really depends on the look you want. How fun is that? Good morning, Danielle. I don't blame you for rolling out of bed. My doggies had me up. Yeah, Karen, I like this one. I would say is a little more grass on the bottom, sky. Now I probably did too much grass. It's a high field, a rolling field with just a little bit. But so this one, the second one, right? Only 1 spritz of alcohol. So it's much darker than the 2 spritzes. But depends on your look, right? Both are cool. I'd use both of them. Morning, Mary. But grab your, you like the darker one? I like the darker one too. I mean, and you could use all black. You could, I could mix better. I think I mixed this one a little better. This one, there's some blips of purple. But I kind of like that because sky isn't, it's like different colors. Hi, beautiful. My baby came down here, huh? Hi, Zeev. You went under Mama's desk? I don't think you want to. I think I'm almost out of time. Anything else does the percentage of alcohol matter? It's just regular rubbing alcohol. Yeah, I have 91% isopropyl alcohol down in my craft room because this is what I use to clean my Copic markers, clean the barrels and clean the caps. And I've found that the higher percentage of alcohol, the easier it is to clean my Copics. I don't know. Try what you have. Like the sanitizer, when I tried that. Yeah, why don't you have a gel plate? They're so much fun. Look, we've been doing this for, not quite an hour. And we have these space backgrounds. We have this little grassy background. We have this textured, this could be grassy. This could be an ocean. We have this more watercolor, softer, butterflies. This is what we originally created. Then we have the opposite of it. Here's, you could cut these sections. This could, again, you can't see the feathers, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't look cool in the background of something. Same for this, or, maybe you like this side. I like this gradient. This was just cleaning the stencil. This was the chubby clouds, or maybe you prefer that side. This was our under the sea. This side's pretty cool too, but the under the sea. This again was cleaning the stencil. And these were the original, putting the stencil down and picking it up. And then we did this one where we sprayed the sprays over the stencil while it was sitting on the gel press, and then just picked up the ink off the top. Look at me. I'm messy. I think any alcohol you have is going to displace the ink. You may find the higher the concentration, the more it moves. Thank you, Karen. But again, play with what you have. If you don't like the result, then you can always buy. Not that right now you might be able to find alcohol. I'm not sure. But I will tell you, you might like it better because it may not displace the ink as much. So when you go back to these, right? Our stormy winter sky, our space sky. Did I have another one? Yeah, here it is. Our winter storm. That may be too much. You may want, less droplets. So that the lower percentage of alcohol might work out better for you. So I would say try what you have. See if you like it. There is a challenge to create a messy background, and so play, have a good time. But remember, right? I might just mat this and put a sentiment on this, and I think that would be a really beautiful card. So it doesn't have to take hours. So the cleaning, I used both baby wipes and I used the Nuvo stamp cleaner because it's really good on the hybrid inks. And then I just go over the top of it with a water-based cleaner, which you could probably do water too. It's just that the Nuvo, I love the way it cleans, but it has an oily residue, and I don't like that on my stencils. And I'm sure it's just whatever whatever is in it that cuts through that pigment or that hybrid ink. So that's why I use both. So don't forget about the challenges. Check out what the rest of the DT has for you, because there's lots of fun stuff up on the Facebook page today. Thank you so much, Carol. I want to see some ink. And, you know, it should be who has the inkiest hands, because, look, I have ink all the way up my arm. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Yeah, 99% alcohol would work. Oh, and Anna has a live Copic coloring. So jump in and check out her coloring. I'm sure it's going to be fabulous because she always does an amazing job. I am the messy girl. That's me. Thanks, guys. Bye.